All right. So now against Petrosian.
Against Petrosian, yeah. He played, finally, Petrosian played Sicilian against Bobby. A variation which is more or less quiet like this, not very complicated. But okay, a small advantage for white again. This is the Paulsen variation for black that I played also myself many times, you remember? And here the move order again is very important, for white and for black. Bishop d3 is the modern line. Instead of bishop d3, before everybody played knight c3, something else. But okay, after bishop d3, knight c6 is, such a line where black accepted the fact that he is a little bit worse, but he tries to have an even game later on, by best play by both, you see. So the best way is here to take immediately in c6 and to try to have a small advantage, like in any other game, you see. So castle, and now d5 immediately. Okay, knight d5, and now the best move for white is c4. Okay, white played c4. Here, the first moment, if you take in c4, it's clearly better for white. If you take in e4 again, clearly better for white. If you push and play d4, is very unclear game, but anyway, white has better chances because he can push also e5 and later on come with a piece on e4 and have the initiative, you see. This is the idea in this opening. Okay, if you have an open position with knight f6, here move order again, very important. We'll see immediately why. So he took in d5 with c-pawn, he took with c-pawn, and now he took back again. Here, the first important moment, he could take back with the knight.
Yes.
Okay, probably it was better to take with the knight. The idea was to play like this here. Bishop e4.
Bishop e4.
Bishop e4. Trying to have an Isolani, at least. You have something with white, So the best move here probably is rook a7. Now if you give the possibility to play the rook to d7, black is okay. Rook d7, bishop b7. This is the idea for black to consolidate a little bit,
Yes.
But now white can take immediately in d5. And when he takes there, he can take with the queen and try to resist here, I mean, like this, takes. And here bishop e3 immediately. Bishop e3 with white.
E3. With white.
Yeah, bishop e3, rook d7, and okay, bishop d4. And after, bishop d4, yeah.
Yes.
Bishop d4, f6. And okay, better for white, but maybe you can have a good chance to resist, try to resist, okay. Is better for white anyway,
Mm-hmm.
But okay. Even if black has two bishops, because for the moment the white bishop doesn't play too much for black, and you have a small weakness in d5. The Isolani is weak, you see.
Yeah.
But that was the alternative. Okay, Petrosian played e takes d5. Normal move, a little bit better for white, but it's playable, of course. No? And here, after knight c3, bishop e7, the first moment again, tactical, queen a4 check. Okay. Now, if you play here normal, bishop d7, the possibility was queen c2, castle, you have to castle immediately now, and bishop g5, initiative for white, better for white. Not something decisive, but very pleasant. White is better, in any case. After bishop g5, he wants to take a pawn later on, in h7, in f6, and the pawn from d5 later on, very complicated, but better for white, you see. Okay, queen d7, and after queen d7, rook e1, black has to accept the fact that he is a little bit worse and to suffer a little bit, to try to equalize with black finally, So, right, bishop e6, no? Bishop e3. Now it's clear why is better for white, because he controls the central squares. He wants to put something on c5, a piece on c5, and he has control of the central square d4. And black has the 2 pawns are a little bit weaker, than the 2 pawns from white from a2 and b2. a2, b2, much better than a6, d5. Okay, white is better, And initiative after the opening. Okay, castle. At least he could castle, So, right, very simple again, bishop c5. Small initiatives, very small advantage. Okay. So he took, and here b4. Okay, control on the central squares, you see. The c5 square, the d4 pawn, the d4 square, the b6 square, you know. He controls everything. All right. So here, Petrosian, he was defending very well. One of the best players in the world, you know, for defense. You know, he was well known. King f8, the position is already a little bit dangerous, but it seems that he can defend. King f8, okay, knight c5. And here he found a very interesting idea later on. You know, what did he play here? Bishop c8, okay, bishop c8. And here, white played f3, okay. If you want to take in e1, okay, we agree. We give you the possibility to take to in e1, but white is clearly better, any case, you know. So here, Petrosian found, it seems, a very nice idea. He puts the rook, it seems a little bit strange, but it's okay. He puts the rook in a7. You know, he doubled the rook against, if white wants to arrive in such a position, the pawn in a2, maybe it was weak later on, you know, if they arrive there. The idea for black is to play later bishop d7 and bishop b5. This is the idea for black, you know. Okay. So he played rook there, rook e5, no? Rook, bishop d7. He's preparing this, no? And here, very big surprise, you know. White took in d7, giving this fantastic knight from c5 against the weaker bishop from d7, you know. It seems that it was a bad idea, not to give such a knight, you see.
Yeah.
But he plays for a better endgame here. And he plays move by move, he'll arrive in a winning endgame. You know, it's fantastic what happens later on. With very simple, you know, threats. I mean, here he has the control of the E file. Now he takes the C file, rook C1. Okay. He's controlling everything. E file, C file. Now the threat was rook C6. Of course, Petrosian doesn't give this possibility, but now white can arrive on the 7th rank, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, rook c7. That will prove decisive. Okay, knight d7. Okay, rook back, no? And finally g6. Okay, it seems he could defend, no?
Yeah.
More or less. Okay, it's better for white. But, okay, how can you win? You have to be patient. Okay, he comes with the king. If you give the possibility, he would prefer to arrive with the king in d4. If he arrives with the king in d4, it's lost for black, you know, positionally, you know. But okay, black plays here, and he tries to resist. I mean, he move by move. Okay, h5. Now again, he prepares. He considered probably that king e3 was too little, you know, not too much, you know. So okay, he prepares. He played f4, h4 again, king f3. Now he wants to take the h pawn after king g4. He provokes another weakness with move f5. So black played move f5. Now you have two weaknesses. f5, h4. Now he comes with the king. King e3. Now I told you, if he arrives in d4 in good condition, black is lost. So the only good move, a little bit active, is d4 check. You know? So now king back. How many moves do you think the position will last here? A few moves only.
Only a few moves?
A few moves.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Five?
unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable.
5 moves?
Yeah, knight b6. Look what happens here. So now he doubles on the 7th. Now the position is completely winning for white. The two rooks on the 7th wins by force in any position. Huh? So now knight d5. What could he play? No, the only move. So now check. King e8. Rook b7. So finally, Petrosian won a pawn. And knight takes f4. Yeah, bishop c4. Complete Zugzwang, black resign. Bishop c4.
Oh, okay.
What can he play here? Rook
Yeah,
c8. Well, he can resign in any position. Knight e6. If he comes back with the knight in e6, he loses a piece. At least a piece with rook e7 check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he can't come back. Well, the threat is brutal. He wants to give mate, you know.
But
The idea, rook c8, for instance. Rook
yes.
c8. Okay. Rook f7, e7 check.
Rook e7 check.
Yeah. Where do you go? d8 or f8 now? Okay, f8 for instance.
Yes.
Rook h7, mate.
Threaten to give mate here.
Yeah. Unbelievable. No, there's nothing to believe. In a few moves.
And if it's going the other way, the same thing?
Yeah.
If it's going here.
Because you can't protect,
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
So this now.
Yeah. This no moves. Zugzwang, complete Zugzwang.
And this knight here.
Well, again, probably, even if he takes, probably is winning. Okay, let's say he takes. Okay. He takes, no? Rook h7, mate. It's unbelievable. In a few moves. Against Petrosian, not against anyone, like this.
Wow.
Fantastic technique, Small advantage, a little bit bigger, decisive. In a few moves.
I think it was very hard for.
And everything started with knight takes d7, where he gave this fantastic knight against the weak bishop, Everything was planned, the end game. Because the bishop was also very strong. The white bishop is also very strong. Controlling everything, the diagonal, the weakness from a6, preparing the final attack, everything was forced,
Also maybe to stop this counter bishop here.
Yeah, but small advantage, of course. By this time, well, of course, Petrosian understood what was the danger, but it was too late,
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr.
That was the difference between Bobby and the best players of the world. You can imagine, Petrosian, usually, it was normal for Petrosian to lose maybe 1 or 2 games in 1 or 2 years. He lost very rarely. Against Bobby, he lost 7 games in a few months, in 3 or 4 months. 7 times.
Yeah.
And when he came back from this match from Buenos Aires, that was a press conference, and everybody wanted to know what happened and what are the chances in the final match against Spassky in Reykjavik. And Petrosian smiled and he said, okay, we can abandon our hopes to retain the title because it's too late, everything will be finished. So everybody was very surprised and they said, well, how is possible you tell such a thing, you're such a strong grandmaster, you're also world champion and so. And he said, do you remember how many times I can lose in 1 year or in 2 years? Very rarely, maybe once. Against this guy here, I lost 7 times, in 3 or 3 months. Therefore, you understand, we have no hope at all, So he proved right,
Yes.
No.
Nice.
No, it was a legend. Fantastic. Out of this world, the Bobby Fischer, You have to admire, even if you don't like Bobby Fischer, maybe you don't like him.
Yeah.
You prefer someone else. But you have to admire such a strong player.
Such a force.
Fantastic player.
Yeah.
In any game, it was a demonstration, like this. And what opponents, what kind of opponents? Petrosian, Larsen, now we have Spassky, the last 2 games.
Yeah. Beautiful. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see Spassky. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
You're welcome.